Lincoln Legends, Lore and Langiappe, presented by your Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society, celebrating 50 years of community support. Enjoy as our museum director, Rick Godley, takes the time to capture the stories of life in Lincoln Parish from the characters of Lincoln Parish. In this episode, Rick had the opportunity to sit and visit with Bill Cox.
It was a service station.
In every sense of the word.
Yeah. And I was very fortunate that people put up with me. And I enjoyed the service station business.
Well, Bill, you say that too, and you got involved in the community. And before we get involved in your involvement in the community in multiple ways, what motivated you to do that? And what still motivates you to do that?
Well,
and by the way, do you mind if I reveal people how old you are right now?
No.
The 90-year-old still getting involved in the community. What's the motivation? When and where did that come from?
Well, I did a lot of credit business. And I don't know, it came from my parents, first of all. My dad worked for Magnolia Oil Company, and we moved around tremendously. I mean, to stay 1 year was out of the ordinary. And my parents always enjoyed being around a lot of people. And they would have, now my daddy worked for the oil company. At the end of 30 days, if there was not a lost time accident, everybody was always cutting fingers off or mashing toes off or something, you know, in the oil industry. And he'd have fish fry. Mm-hmm. No lost time accidents. And I enjoyed that. And I started cooking at the station. And boy, we have had some. And then later on, the Super Bowl was an attraction. Mm-hmm. Jerry Griffin went off. He and Dr. Florence went off somewhere on an elk hunt or something, and he killed a bear. He called me back and he said, "Bill, can you cook a bear?" I said, "Well, sure, I can cook a bear." He came back, we had a bear party at the station.
What year was this? Do you remember? Around?
This was probably in the 80s.
Okay.
But everybody on the police force, everybody at Louisiana Tech, on the football team. Gil Terrebonne lived in Lafayette, and he had a athletic supply store. He made T-shirts, caps, aprons. Everybody that came to this bear party got a memento.
Right.
We fixed bear any way you could fix bear. I mean, bear stroganoff, beans a la bear. We had a great time. But it was activities like that. I could hardly wait to get up there every morning. Now, for the first several years, I opened at 5, closed at 10, 7 days a week. I did not close on Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, anniversaries, children's birthday parties. I had a job.
5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Uh-huh. So I battled it. And that is one of the reasons I built my own station.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know that the adage of if you go in business for yourself, one of the benefits of that is you get to work half a day. You just got to pick what 12 hours you want to work. But you did more than 12 hours.
Well, you know, Rick, I'll never forget the first day I sold 300 gallons of gasoline. It was on New Year's Day.
Really?
I was the only one open, and people didn't travel like they did now, you know.
Right.
They would jump on a plane or something and
right.
take off. But I sold 300 gallons and boy, I really thought I had done something.
So I'm going to guesstimate the gas prices at that time.
16.9.
16 cents, 16.9 cents, almost 17 cents a gallon. We're telling people right now who are going to be watching this, Bill, like, you got to be kidding. You're from another reality. Well, it was another reality.
Well, it was.
That's right. 16.9, 300
And I was,
gallons.
Rick, I was green as a gourd. In 1960, there was a real commotion in Ruston. Some man came by the station and said that he personally had seen deer tracks at Summerall's Peach Orchard. We all ganged up and loaded in pickup trucks and went out there to see the deer tracks. This was in 1960. They're all the way. One almost ran into my car today.
That's what he said. A 10-point almost hit him on the way up here to the museum. But okay, 1960, just to help, because people are watching this and they're saying, what the heck are you talking about? Everybody got excited at the first sighting of deer tracks in Lincoln Parish in 1960. I mean, that's exactly what you're saying, because deer was not...
They were not here. Talking about wildlife. One day about 1970, a pickup truck pulling a long, funny-looking trailer with stainless steel, had louvers on the side, was not very tall. He pulled in the side island, wanted to gas up. I ran out there and got to talking to him. He was with the Wildlife and Fisheries out of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me where the Jacksonville Game Reserve was. And I told him, I said, you're almost here. I said, you'll be down there in 15 more minutes. I heard something grunting back there in that little trailer. And I asked him, I said, what you got back there? Got 33 bears, Wisconsin black bears. I've been told to bring them down here. We're gonna let them out at the Jacksonville Game Reserve, and we're gonna pick up some
Raccoons?
No.
Not raccoons.
No.
What did you said that?
It was, they lived in a marsh.
Not beaver.
No.
Not nutria.
No.
All right.
It'll come to me in a minute.
I know it will.
I'm having a
You're having a senior moment. I get
Yes.
it. That's fine. So we're trading animals, is what you're saying.
So they were out of this varmint.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 minutes ago, I could have told
Well, you did tell me, and I can't even remember. So don't.
Anyway, I said, you're going to let those things out. Well, you know, here just the other day, two of the largest deer, bear and deer, you know, Teddy Roosevelt came down here to hunt. And the largest deer that's been killed since 1939 was in the Daily Leader just a few days ago. Also, a bear that weighed over 600 pounds was killed. Now, these bear that was in this hay, they were not nearly that large.
Mm-hmm.
But he told me, he said, within a week or 10 days, they'll be hundreds of miles from here. They're nocturnal. You'll never see them. But in about 4 days, one was hit down on 167 and killed less than a week after he put them out.
Right.
But that's the only ones I ever heard of.
So some of the stories, again, of people just pulling into your service station, being a pivotal coordinate point, again, of Highway 80, east to west, which used to be the major thoroughfare across the United States before the advent of the interstate system, and then also 167. So you've seen a lot of people come and go besides the local colloquial. You've also seen people just pulling in Highway 80 or 167, gassing up and getting out of town, I would dare say, from politicians to outlaws to in-laws. I mean, give me a famous person that you walked out there after the bell rang and you said, yes, sir, can I help you? Or yes, ma'am, can I help you? And it's like, you're like, this is so-and-so from Hollywood, or this is so-and-so.
Well,
you have a famous story of a
I know nothing about it. Now my daughter can tell you about it. He had a fur coat on. He was one of these rock and rollers. Mm-hmm. He was it did not impress me because I don't listen to any of that.
Right.
Kathy liked to have a fit. This was back in the, I don't know, 74, 73, something like that. But he pulled in out there, had a Cadillac, had a fur coat on, full length fur coat.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? I thought you were going to say.
Oh, well, I knew at the time.
It was Elvis, or it wasn't Elvis,
no,
right?
it wasn't Elvis. It wasn't Elvis.
All right, we'll find out who that was. Kathy will fill in that blank.
Kathy will know.
We'll get that.
She remembered it.
Well, let's dovetail onto Elvis, because I'm finding out Elvis loved Ruston. Elvis used to go to KRUS Radio, which, by the way, is just above where Sundown is, and Ponchatoula is.
Right up there.
He loved that. He also used to
Pat Cardwell had his architectural business up there. Pat was a math major, and he got into drawing house plans, and I guess he drew every house, every business that was in Ruston was being constructed. I don't know how many houses he drew for me.
So upstairs, you mean, so it was more than just the radio station, right?
Right. Pat was upstairs, just over to the one side.
So, and Elvis liked to go to the P.O. Cafe, so, and I've heard stories of him riding and passing through Ruston and spending time here because it was on the way to the hayride. So, yeah, I mean, we
Thank you for watching Lincoln Legends Lore and Lagniappe, presented by your Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society, celebrating 50 years of community support. Please follow us on Facebook for all future events as we celebrate our 50th anniversary this year. Thank you once again for your contributions of support. This has been a Godleyworks for Nonprofits production in association with Rick Godley's ATL Features. ATL stands for All Things Local. ATL also stands for All Things Lincoln.